Hello my gaming peeps, it's that time of week again where I bring you some interesting facts regarding the oldest and latest news on games to expand your gaming knowledge. So that being said, let's just get straight onto it. This is a subject that hit me hard when I first found out about it, because I love the Telltale game series, whether it be The Walking Dead, Batman, Wolf Among Us, etc, etc. I'm sure you all feel the same. These games, they've always expanded upon the true stories in their own unique ways and sort of given us a different perspective on these characters where, basically we were in the driver's seats and we controlled the stories. So yeah, let's talk about how the Walking Dead license holder will better establish itself as a games publisher and provide us with new and exciting stories that we can all grow to love as much as the Telltale game series. The fact that Skybound have actually kept on some of the original staff from Telltale does tell us that we can expect some sequels to games that we thought would die after Telltale's untimely demise. I've mentioned this in previous videos before with Telltale games shutting down. Check those out if you fancy it. So, picking up the pieces after the shocking collapse of Telltale games will be no easy task due to the number of projects that we all thought we would get sequels to. And I'll get into detail on that in a little bit. So, within hours of the news that the studio behind the episodic adaptation of Robert Kirkman's The Walking Dead was effectively no more, fans were demanding that the game's final season be finished for free, apparently oblivious to the fact that there was actually no one left to work on the game, but yeah. But anyway, you all already know this, so there's no reason to go over what you already know and what I've already covered in previous videos. Like I said, I've done videos on this before, they're all in playlists if you're interested. So, I have found a direct quote from Skybound Entertainment. It was dropped in November 2018, which states, "We will continue to work with third parties," so basically Marvel, DC, and maybe even 2K for a sequel to Tales from the Borderlands. I was doing a series on that on my live streaming before my capabilities were blocked, so if you're interested, check that out as well. They go on to say, but to have our own sort of in-house publishing engine was the main and leading issue in taking on a vast franchise of gaming. So what they're basically saying there is they just didn't have the capabilities to do it. So basically, when you look at the range of proven capabilities that Skybound as a group has had for quite some time, the obvious things that were missing have clearly been games. Like, over the years they've done some arm's length licensing of their own unique IPs, predominantly The Walking Dead, out to Telltale Games and so on, and that they are wanting to continue to do just that. They're wanting to continue on with those unique parties. So, through the wider world of Skybound, the games arm has delivered more than just The Walking Dead to work with. In addition to that, they have Thief of Thieves, Breaking Bad, etc. And it would be really cool to jump into the shoes of Walter White and have a game based around him, like an episodic game based around him, maybe like a prequel story. That'd be really cool. So that's something for Skybound to work on, because it's an AMC project as well, so they could work with AMC for it. So while Skybound owns a wealth of IPs ranging from comics such as Invincible and Outcast, to horror VR series Lies Within, to superhero themed party games, Super Fight, they definitely have a lot to work with when it comes to finishing the legacy that Telltale Games began so many years ago. So at present, Skybound is unable to comment or unable to disclose any information on the company's IP or to anything that might be in the works when it comes down to video games. And like I said, they're not at liberty to go into any future plans they may have for the Walking Dead series either. But this assures that the publisher is looking at which properties will be the best fit for the gaming universe that Skybound is now expanding upon. So basically that tells us what I said earlier, that they are wanting to try and continue maybe Batman, Guardians of the Galaxy, and possibly Tales from the Borderlands, Wolf Among Us, and Game of Thrones as well. But that does yet remain to be seen. I mean, I couldn't really find much information regarding that because all the projects that I've just mentioned there, Telltale Games did promise sequels to them, especially The Wolf Among Us, and it's now really up to Skybound Entertainment if they want to continue those projects or sell off the rights to a different company, which I will get into detail on a little bit later as well. So there's a number of publishers that are focused on the indie and battle royale opportunities right now, and I've got to say, my veteran subscribers know I'm not a fan of indie games as much as I'm a fan of battle royale games. I really hate battle royale games. Like, they're just awful. Where's the fun and where's the adventure in just going around killing a bunch of people? I mean, take Fortnite for example. If you die, you have to watch everybody else die. Where's the fun in that? It's just pointless. But yeah, not many of them can point to this broad range of resources and competency and ability that Skybound has across these other areas. It won't always be appropriate, basically. But if there's something really outstanding, they can always say to the creators, well, what about comic books? What about books? What about TV shows and cartoons? Can we expand upon that universe? But, you know, it will be relevant from time to time, and that's expertise that they could use on their in-house projects for unique and new projects. Equally, Skybound isn't actually the first entertainment company trying to establish itself in the gaming market these days, because Skybound, they've done a couple of games, they've been in association with Telltale and whatnot, but they are now new to the gaming industry because they've taken on what was Telltale Games. So they've got a lot of competition out there. Just take, you only need to look at the strength of the Warner Brothers, for example, with the success of the Batman games, or even the ambitious of more recent entrants like Wild River. To see the potential of video games has like long since been recognized by other screen industries. I mean, I'm actually pretty sure even the Sci-Fi Channel wanted to make some games of their more famous TV shows like Sliders and Farscape at one point, back in the day, like PS1, PS2 days. But they never actually got the green light because the shows were cancelled before the console generation took off, I think. I don't know. But yeah, with technology developing and the games market becoming increasingly popular as the world's leading form of entertainment, it would surely not surprise me if other companies one day take up the mantle for these projects, or if Skybound just decide to take them up themselves. So in another interview I found from Robert Kirkman talking about the future of Skybound, he does actually go into detail on this. He says in a direct quote, "We're going into the market with our eyes wide open," he says, which basically tells us he has several ideas for possible projects. It doesn't mean he's assured those projects, he's just got some ideas in his head. And actually, with what Kirkman's doing to the show these days, I'm not really sure that he should do any games. I mean, yeah, that's actually something to ponder on now. But yeah, he goes on to say, while this is a new division for the Skybound group, the people that are driving it have been around for a long time. So by him saying that, I would imagine he's referring to the Telltale Game staff that he's kept on. He goes on to say, I started my games career at the start of the 90s. Our CEO, Ian Howe, around about the same time. And there's a significant amount of new blood, not just within Skybound Games, but within the Skybound group. We feel as a group we've got, like he says we've got a handle on both the physical and digital landscape. So the engine is there. If they've got that in mind, if they've got the physical and digital landscapes in mind, then that is their engine. That is all they need to build a decent game, really. But yeah, since that quote, there's been several deliberations. There's been some positive, some negative, and obviously there's been rumours on forums and whatnot, which I've tried to avoid for this video. So while this is all well and interesting, what I'm sure you all want to know, as well as myself, is if the previous games that Telltale had planned for the future will still go ahead. The fact that Skybound is finishing The Walking Dead just tells us that Kirkman didn't want the story to go unfinished, which would explain why he took on full rights to it at the end. I mean, he did already kind of own it, as The Walking Dead is a property of Skybound and Robert Kirkman. Kirkman would have only come on to the game's development as like a consultant. He didn't really have an official say in what happened with the story or the development of the game. He would just like pop in every so often, maybe talk to the cast members, maybe say, oh well, you can try this and this would be good for the linking in with the show or something. I don't know, but he was only officially there as a consultant when those games were in development. So yeah, that does explain that. But yeah, as I said earlier, what about Batman, Wolf Among Us, Tales from the Borderlands, Guardians of the Galaxy, or even Game of Thrones, as that was actually supposed to get a second season at some point this year, until obviously Telltale Games' untimely demise. Unfortunately though, as I stated earlier, Skybound aren't really at liberty to discuss anything about future projects they may have taken up from the fall of Telltale Games. I'm sure that's down to some kind of legal issue at the moment, or if they just haven't got anything to announce. Maybe we'll find out at E3, because with them getting back into the swing of things, maybe Robert Kirkman will announce a new Walking Dead game, possibly based on Rick, because I'm sure they're wanting to hype up Rick's movie storyline, so maybe they'll release a Rick game, like they did with the 3-episode Michonne game. So we just don't know until then. That's just me throwing a theory out there. But there aren't even that many articles or statements from Skybound or Kirkman as of late. It all seems to have just gone quiet, as I would assume they are focusing all their efforts on the completion of the Walking Dead final game season. You see, personally, with the likes of Batman, Tales from the Borderlands, etc., they could divide the rights over to other companies, like the creators of the Life is Strange series, Don't Nod, for example. As engines go, as gaming worlds go, they already have experience to create those types of games. It's already all there. All they'd have to do is expand upon that and steal an engine from one of the previous games, instead of starting from scratch like Skybound would. So it would make a hell of a lot of sense for Tales from the Borderlands, Wolf Among Us and whatnot, if they sold some of them off to Don't Nod or to any other gaming company. Just don't sell it to Ubisoft or EA Games, whatever the hell you do, because we'll be paying so much more for extra DLCs. Instead of a season pass, they'll just probably release each episode separately and you have to pay for them separately, and I'll be like, oh god, kill me now. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about with that. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think. There's actually not a lot of information out there regarding this. I just wanted to drop an update on what Skybound actually had planned for the future of those games. And it would seem as though they are just at the moment concentrating on The Walking Dead. But as I said, it would be really cool to see Kirkman announce at E3 that Skybound they've got this and this going on, and we're also making a Rick Grimes game, similar to the Michonne storyline that we all saw. So let me know what you guys think about that. That is just my theory on that. Maybe it'll just get Skybound out there, it'll get Skybound noticed, and they'll try and sort of expand upon their own gaming universe with The Walking Dead, because it would make a lot of sense, because, you know, Walking Dead's Kirkman's baby. You know, he's going to do everything in his power to keep that going, to keep that alive. He's not going to want to see his baby sort of be pushed aside and forgotten. So I do expect we will see some more Walking Dead games. But as for the rest of them, Batman, etc., I wouldn't expect to see a sequel to any of those until at least 2021, maybe 2022, maybe even possibly on the next generation of consoles, because it's just not a priority for Skybound at the moment. As I said earlier in the video, they are just starting out on the gaming industry, so they're just like getting to know things really. Yeah, they've done other projects before, but they've never had something this big slapped upon them. I mean, the staff from Telltale Games must be wanting some kind of work from Skybound Entertainment. Like, I doubt they would have just hired them to finish The Walking Dead, because then it'd be like, well, you're fired all over again. Imagine that. I'm sure Kirkman doesn't want a lawsuit for bringing that team back, just to fire them and have them taken to court for firing them for finishing a game that they were supposed to finish in the first place. It doesn't need that kind of hassle. So it would make a lot of sense for him to keep those staff members on and just continue to expand their knowledge on the future projects that Telltale Games can no longer produce. But anyway, that's about all I have for you this episode. Apologies, it's really not that much. It's just mostly theories and quotes. However, it does tell us some interesting things about the future of Skybound Entertainment. And I will definitely keep you updated if I find out anything more, because I'm always looking into this, so I'll always do a few more videos on this as well. Shout out to all subscribers, old and new. I do appreciate the love and support. I've gained over 20 subscribers in just one day, and that was with my sorry, get my words out there. That was with my Spider-Man video, just basically me chatting crap about some patch updates for the game, and it's received a massive and whopping 6,500 views. I mean, in less than 24 hours it had received over 3,000 views, so that was just absolutely fantastic, and I want to thank everyone who's stopped by, dropped a comment on that, or dropped a like on that. I really do appreciate it, even though it's just 40 minutes of gameplay with me chatting away about the patch updates. So yeah, I still can't thank you all enough for that. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. This has been Just the Facts with Gamerdude. Happy gaming, and I will catch you all real soon, guys.